For some of you wondering how we are doing this is because YouTube has a limit of 10 minutes. Very good. I want to take a quick questions point of break kind of situations. How many of you have a quick question that you would like to ask me that I can answer for you? Yes, Kim.
With regard to networking groups, professional networking groups,
Yes.
would you say there's a limit to how many should be actively involved in?
I would agree with that. Yeah, you can't be, like, I have a lot of chambers, executive directors and membership people talking to me saying, Minesh, you should belong to our chamber. It's like, I can only go to so many events, right? So how can I belong to more groups than whatever number I can actually visit physically, interact, be active, participant, so that people can get to know me. If I just belong to the group with a signature and a membership due, it doesn't work anyway. Is that answering your question? Great, thanks Kim. Who else has a question? Okay, good. Yes, Shelley?
I just think for some people, I mean, not so much me because I teach communication and I'm interpersonally, I'm comfortable with getting out, being communicative.
I'm shocked! Go ahead, Shelley.
Oh, just wherever. But here's my question, because
Yes.
I teach this, and it's just so common.
Yes.
With most people here and most people out there, they know intellectually that they need to network, they need to talk, they need to have a one-on-one. Okay, when I leave this room, I have to have connected with 5 people. Okay, whatever. Intellectually, that's the easy part. I think for a lot of people, not me, but for most people, it's difficult to go up to a person and start talking about yourself or your business, or, I mean, it's awkward, especially for people that aren't experienced or comfortable in interpersonal just dialogue like that, spontaneous. How do people, because I think that's what most people suffer from. How do you do that? How do they get outside of their self?
Good. Thank you for asking, Shelley. So basically the question is very simple. How do you create that conversation and interaction which can be successful in networking? Should I be true to say
That's a
that?
better way of saying it.
And I guess I do for a living something. Okay. Here's what happens. When people say, what do? You should have a good answer for that. That is the first thing. The second thing is you need to have a way to show interest in other people so they can be interested in talking to you over a longer period of time, whether that's a couple of minutes or maybe 10 minutes or longer. So when people say, what do? If you have 1 second answer, a 5-second answer, a 10-second answer, an elevator speech like a 30-second answer, it's not enough. For example, if I went to Laura and said, what do? What would you say to me, Laura?
I'm a chiropractor.
Okay, great. So she's a chiropractor and she would tell me that. Now that would be fine if it was a very quick interaction and that's all she could tell me. But most of us, the moment somebody says, I'm a chiropractor, you're like, oh, I know what they do. I just, done. I don't have to ask any more questions, I'm done. Now instead, there is a way to dialogue, and that's actually what we are teaching tomorrow in our seminar in Madison Heights. And this speaker, Cliff Sutton, is going to be speaking about that for 40 minutes. And I use the same strategy. So instead of you saying, I'm a chiropractor, you can come and ask me some questions. Or you could provide a statement which would say, I make people feel well naturally. Like, oh, how do you do that? Well, your immunity is very strong if you don't have any subluxations, which I'm sure you don't know what that means. Would you like to know what subluxations are? It's like, yeah. It's like, well, there is a pinched nerve. No. I seem to know a little bit about your business. Huh? It helps having coached a few chiropractors, right? But the point is, now I'm more engaged than I was if you just said I'm a chiropractor. That's the first skill. What is the second skill? The second skill would be, Laura, how long have you been in this business?
Since 2001.
Great, so you've been in the business for about 8 years. Fantastic. What do you love about what you do?
I love helping people stay well and be well.
It's great, so you like helping people stay well. Excellent. Well, what is the best ideal client for you? What are you looking for?
Anybody with a spine?
Anybody with a spine. Okay? Now, here is what. If I was coaching her, that would not be the answer, okay? Why? Because, for simple reason is, it doesn't make it easy for me to refer her business. Usually it would be a sense of, Laura, the best person who you can refer to me would be somebody who has had a challenge lately. Either they have challenge, and again, back pain I know is pretty common. You can use that, or you can use saying, hey, somebody who has been in an accident could be a common one, or they feel fatigued at the end of the day, etc., etc. You could find some very specific situations that you might be helping people in. Because, yeah, you can help anybody, because everybody has some subluxations, I believe, but most people think they don't need it. Would that be true?
Sure.
Exactly. So that would be a little different. But I would show interest in Laura. I would say, hey, where is your practice? Okay, how many people are in your practice? I would go on. You know what I'm saying? I would show interest in her. One of my friends, Bob Berg, who has a book called Endless Referrals, talks about that. What are so many questions that you can ask on a consistent basis in any group, any environment, so people can feel comfortable in talking to you and back and forth exchange. So by the time they leave, they don't feel like you dumped on them, but they feel like they want to talk to you more. Otherwise, what ends up happening? People just dump everything. Good. Thanks. That was a good question, Shelley. Anybody else has a quick question? Yes.
I don't know if it's quick or not. This group has been blessed with great speakers.
Oh, thank you.
And every time I leave here, I'm excited.
Thank you.
For about a day or so, I'm like, this is great. And I guess it's two parts. Last week, I got my first piece of business from the group.
Great. Congratulations to you. That's good news.
It was actually
Great.
from one of the Regis people that came.
Yes.
But then I got even more excited. But what I find just with your steps, I have trouble. I mean, I get excited after this meeting, so I'll be pumped up for the rest of the day because you're doing a great job. But I never take the time to put down the strategy or find the strategy. It's like I'll go back to the office now. There'll be 10 fires waiting for me, and then I'll just, by the end of the day, I will forget your name. you know what I mean? So I mean, it's like, how do I take this enthusiasm, or what have you found? I mean, do I have to do it at night? Should I find some other time? I don't know. I guess how can I translate how can I change the strategy?
Thank you very much. And the answer is very simple. It's a plug for a guy called Business Coach. And here's what happens. This is what I will tell you. Here is a blueprint that I have. And actually, if you give me your business card, Laura, I didn't get your business card, right? I should have made that clear for some people here. Anyway, the point I'm trying to communicate here is I've created a blueprint which is roughly about less than 100 questions which say yes and no. So looking at that, you can create a strategy. You see what I'm talking about? And as a business coach, my job is to help you take one step, possibly each week. Like some of the questions here are, I have a well-defined target market and it is. So you write that down. So most people, that's one of the places they need to start. Then my target market has problems that they will pay to resolve. Yes or no? Do you see what I'm saying? So you create a strategy based on that, and as a business coach, I talk to my clients twice a month to give them specific assignments on what they should do in order to get results. Because by yourself, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to stay focused and accountable. It's just not easy. For all of us, we need that extra support to guide us in that arena of whatever our goals are. It may not sound like, because there is no other strategy in my opinion, like a personal trainer. If you're finding hard to keep yourself motivated to exercise, hire a personal trainer. You have definitely a chance to get better. Now some of you feel that, hey, I don't have the money, time, or whatever else it is. But the question you should ask is, which successful team does not have a coach? Anybody who's playing for Pistons, they would not think of playing for Pistons if the Pistons said, hey, we don't need a coach, the players just come together and we'll decide a strategy. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. For example, you heard of Scotty Bowman, who has brought, obviously, Stanley Cup to the Red Wings. He was respected very highly. People respect Tom Izzo very highly. Why? Because a coach provides you that strategy to keep you focused on going on an ongoing basis. Just depending on yourself all the time doesn't work, does it? Well, again, we are in a church, so obviously you can ask yourself, if I don't believe in God, who's going to motivate me too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there is an energy coming from God, and that's what you're going to be using to trap for ourselves in doing that. And that's a quick answer, but for those who are interested in the blueprint, again, if you give me a business card, I'll be able to forward that to you. Let me give you a quick commercial about myself.